Welcome to Kicking Glass. This is the podcast for the IFMA woman where we celebrate the journeys of our Muay Thai women and the champions of Muay Thai and the champions themselves. Tonight is going to be a catch up interview because last time we were speaking to Rebecca Hödl from Austria, we got cut off because of a power problem in Thailand. So we're in three places all over the world. So we're Austria, New Zealand, Thailand. So we're going to go again tonight. Hopefully get the other half of it. Just want to say our sponsors for. Oh, welcome Rebecca. She's here with us. Welcome back, I should say.
Welcome back.
Fantastic, and it's like 7:30 in the morning over there. Is that right?
You can see.
So she managed to get herself out of bed, and it was actually earlier too, and I stuffed up the time a little bit. So thank you for waiting an hour for us.
No problem.
I really appreciate it. I just quickly say thank you to our sponsors, Low Blow, and I got to get your address so they can send you your performance package, which has the amazing groin guard, and they also have a new boil and bite like mouthpiece, and it's even better than my dentist's one. So I don't know. Give it a go. See what you think of it. They're fantastic. So thank you to Low Blow. Make sure you rate and subscribe us on Spotify because you can go in the draw to win one of these yourselves. If you spar or if you fight and you're a female, they are the most incredible things you'll ever find. And they also do male ones too. So if you're male and you want to jump on there and review us, you also be in the draw to win one of these as well. So we're also just a quick thank you to our other sponsor, and that is Razor Promotions, which is hopefully going to be doing some pretty amazing stuff down here, down south, down in the Oceania region, with that pathway through to the Rajadam and through to Thailand for the athletes down this end of the world. Welcome back.
Yeah, hello. Welcome back.
And I'm super excited to be talking to you again because, like, after the power cut off last time, I think you and I talked for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, we were both like, we should have recorded that, but we didn't.
We didn't, hey? We so should have because it was such amazing chats. We had such cool chats.
It was just in a flow, just like flowing. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was, hey? So that's what I'm going to try and recreate today, whether I can or not.
I'm open.
Excellent. I wrote down some of the things we talked about. Like I was writing a few notes as we go, hoping that I would get this chance to talk to you again.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to start with kind of where we start in the Muay Thai ring, which was that amazing change that you managed to have over one day in your mindset. Because everyone says that when you're under that much stress and pressure, you're either in the fight or the flight mode. Well, we don't want to be in the flight mode. We want to stay in the fight mode, but we want to stay there without freezing or without anything stopping our ability in the ring, right? So what can you explain to us what changed for you between those two fights?
I really don't know actually. The thing is, I'm always telling, Günther is my coach, and I'm always telling him, I know that I'm capable of, I can do it, but my head is always blocking. And I think on that day in the combat games, one of these blocks just opened. That's all that was happening. And in your mind, it is so fast. When your mind opens up, it takes seconds and you can do it. And I think that happens.
And you said, because you had a different coach out the back too, as well, that was talking to you, and you said he said something to you that might have changed.
Yeah, so I'm a very open person and I'm very open. I understand that mentally work is very, very important, especially for me because my physics is pretty good. Most of the time, mentally, it's harder, your mind. And we somehow got a connection there. He was the first time with me, and we both didn't really know how it would work out, but we were both open for it. And he really managed it to open this block, I think. He just gave me the feeling that I am not alone, I guess, that I have backup, that I have people with me who support me, whatever the outcome is. He just managed to open something. I just don't know how he did it, but he did, and I'm so thankful for that.
It makes such a difference, isn't it? Because like mental is the hardest part of fighting. I think the physical stuff, like you just push yourself through that. And I
Yes.
mean, you do have to have some kind of strength and commitment to keep doing that, but it's not as hard as the mental side, I don't think. And you also talked about like having, and that's something like, because Muay Thai is quite new in Austria too, isn't it? There's not a lot of Muay Thai around. Like, and you were saying that Gunther's gym is one of the main gyms, and that's kind of about it. Which means you have male coaches, and a lot of us, well, older ones like myself, we all had male coaches, and we were talking about. You were saying that you have to sometimes teach your male coach how to coach a female.
Yes, yes. I remember when I started Muay Thai and I had my first fights. Günther was my coach because he's the coach of the gym. He owns the gym and he does most of the work. And he we were preparing for the fight, and he wanted to push me, and he started like using maybe words you use like a language I'm just not used to. And he started screaming and being loud. And I looked at him and I was like, no, don't talk to me like that. I was like, I haven't studied. I don't know. I'm just not that kind of person. Everything you're doing now is bringing me down. You're not pushing me with that. And it took us a while to realize that female are just different. We have some female fighters in our gym, and they are the same. You have just to treat them different. And if we are coaching men, he can use this language, but not with females. Maybe it's an Austrian thing. I don't know, but it works.
Yeah, I think you're quite right there because like I coach males as well as I coach females, and it was one thing as a coach I had to learn to talk to the males in I guess a more confrontational, rougher.
It's a
um
rude. It's more rude. You wake them up in being rude. But
Yeah, that's why that's like you had to, and I used some foul language out there, and like I was kind of swearing at him, telling him, and he goes, "That's what I needed," and off he went. And I was like, "Oh my god, if anyone talked to me like that, I think I would just get out of the ring and say fuck
yes,
you."
and for us females, we were discussing a little bit because we have some female fighters, and I tried to figure out what is different with us. And our consent was it's the emotional support. So like for men, they need this kicking, they need a kickstart, like be rude to them and they can change their mind. But females need emotional support. As a female, you are capable of everything if you have emotional support. And I
I
think
think
that's different.
Yeah, I think that's right. Like we both need, because you need your corner and your coach to fire you up. You need to be able to go out there and feel like you are the one in charge, and
Yes,
and it's getting you into that position, isn't it?
yes, right. And it's just for females different. That's my experience. I don't know if it's for every female in that way, but for me it works like that. And
Yeah, I think I'm good. Carry on.
I think that was also the different thing the new coach in combat games did. There was this emotional support, and that kicked me up.
Yeah, and that opened the lock. Because I
Yes,
was, because I
totally.
was thinking my coach myself. Like I remember we were going to, I think it was a boxing, it was a South Pacific boxing title in professional boxing in Australia, and we went along. And we were in a bus, and I saw there was these people. There were street fighting on the street, and he's like, "See, that's what you need to do. Just get in there. Doesn't that make you want to?" And I was like, "Oh my god, that's the worst thing ever." I'm like,
Yes, I
I
know
I'm like, I hate violence. I really don't like violence. I don't like that kind of fighting. I don't see our fighting as that kind of fighting.
right, right, exactly. I really know what you mean. But as a female, I had to find out a different thinking. So if a man watches a fight and there is blood and there is a KO and whatever, because they are happy, they like this kind of violence. I don't know how to explain it better. But as a female, for me, it was just violent. So I had to find a way like, oh, this was a good technique, or wow, this is so hard to do. You really need to be very good at that stuff to do that. So I can build my mind around that and then I can do it. That's how it works.
So so do you think females should have female coaches and males should have male coaches, or do you think we need to learn and adapt? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I was really thinking because I think myself, I'm working on maybe being a coach someday. I realize a lot of things I'm interested in, which actually are more coaching side than fighting side. But you need to be a fighter to be a coach one day. I think it is important because you understand what is going on in your fighter on that day, during the fight, after the fight, in the breaks. You understand. And I think it's not really necessary to really have only female coaches for female fighters, but I think male coaches should just understand that we are not built the same way in our emotional structure, in our way how we deal with maybe some pressure, maybe fear or whatever. We deal just a little bit different than men do. And I think
Yeah,
that's important to understand.
yeah, I think you're right, and I'm going to be interested now going forward and having more podcasts because I'll be quite interested to ask other females if they're like that or whether it's an individual thing or because I don't think it's a strength thing, do you?
No,
Like I don't think because there is the stereotype that men are stronger and faster and like if it's the sprinting and lifting weights and of course men are going to lift more than us, but we're not fighting men, we're fighting women in the ring, but and so we are just as strong, but we're not as strong. Like what do
I
you think
understand.
about the stereotypes?
Just, I don't think that it should be always just comparing, you know. So I know that men and female should be have same rights and should be treated as the same as an individual person, right? But we are physically built different than men. Our mindsets are different than the one for men. We are maybe, and I think even men in a group are different to each other. So you should just respect them and worship for them that they're a person and individual, no matter if male or female or whatever. But also keep in mind that everybody is different and that is good. Everybody is his individual style, and like some, like for the fighters, some like the kneeing style, some are more clinching, some like to be out of range, some like to be in range, some are like going forwards, others going backwards. It's everywhere like that.
I think that's so true. Like I remember I did for my master's thesis, I had to interview some people, and I interviewed Dmitry, like the head of the Russian Muay Thai Federation, and he was a fighter when I was back a fighter, and he said, "Well, Sue," because he wasn't, he was very against women fighting to start with, but and he's like,
Oh
"Well, the
yeah,
world has
Russia.
changed." Yeah, they were right, but they have some of the best female fighters in the world, and
Totally.
totally. And he said to me, "Look, they fight different. You same with the men. You'll get a shorter fighter and a tall fighter, or a larger fighter or a skinnier fighter, and they will all have their individual style." And he said it's just the same with the women. They have their individual style, and I think that's what. I don't know. I think that's what the basis of the respect within Muay Thai. Like, I do not feel that other Muay Thai athletes, male ones, look at me as a female Muay Thai athlete. They look at me as a Muay Thai athlete.
Yes, that's true. That's I have the same experience. Yes, true. You're just doing Muay Thai and fine. No matter, no more explanation needed.
Yeah, they don't seem to treat you any different, do they? Like they don't think their gold is more worthy than your gold.
No, no, not even. No, I think so too. Yes, and I really like that. It's just
Yeah.
it makes you. Hey, that's what I meant. It's just you are a person, not female, male. Da, da, da. You're just worth who you are. Oh, that's
I,
cool.
w- I wonder if that's one of the reasons why women's Muay Thai got so quickly equal in like numbers, because we
Yes,
reached parity in 2018, and that was like only 16 years after us having, I don't know, 12 women fighting at the first one that women were allowed. So
for me, it is also. I was when I started Muay Thai, when I started a sport again, I was thinking about what to start. I wanted to do something for my body. I wanted to get fit, and I somehow got into combat sports and Muay Thai. And when I think back now, I'm not sure if maybe volleyball or any other sport would have had the same effect for me, because hitting the pads and giving someone the chance to strengthen your body, to actually experience how strong your body is actually, Because in the female world, when I remember my grandmother, she was like, how can you do that sport? It's so brutal. It's so whatever. Why don't you just go dancing or whatever? She wanted me to do a female sport. In her
Yeah.
mindset, there are female and male sports.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, if I do dancing, it is not, I cannot express myself the way I want to express. I wanted to show that I'm powerful, but I also have mindset because you need both for Muay Thai. Only having power is not the same as having power and have a fight intelligence, have a fight IQ, have to, there is tactic, there is technique, there's so much more than just power. And that's what I like.
Yeah, but it's a complete, it's holistic, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
there's so much more to it. It's not just fighting. There is like a beauty and a fluidity in the movements that actually
yeah,
feels a little bit like dancing. There's a
totally.
rhythm.
And then you have an opponent who is maybe just kicking your ass off because of whatever reason. And you understand, oh, okay, wait a second. This is because I give him the space to do that. So if I change my tactic, my style, then maybe he's in trouble. And that's what I like. It's just gambling.
It's gambling with your own face.
Yes, I really like that. It's like, okay, now I got hit. Okay, I have to change something.
It's so funny because you don't feel it, right? In the ring, you don't feel it. It's such a
No,
mind thing. You're like, oh, I need to
it's
change this. Oh, that worked. I'll try that again.
yes, right, right. And that's, I think for me, it's also the hardest part because being physical strong, yeah, you train before, you're pushing yourself hard, but pushing your body is much easier than pushing your mind during the ring when you maybe get your ass kicked, right?
I think
So,
that's so
yeah.
true. And like I remember like when coaching, I think one of the first things I teach my students is breathing. And
Yes.
it's such an incredibly powerful tool. And I think that's one tool that crosses over to life so much, don't you think?
Yes, it is for me the hardest part sometimes was to stay calm. Like to, even if I get punched, during the ring, the punches don't feel that bad. It's just
No.
you're full of adrenaline, you're full mindset. It's just not that bad. So it's not the pain, but you feel stress in your body. You feel that you're now pushed from your opponent. So I really focus to stay calm, to try to stay calm. And I think that was the thing at the combat games that worked out for the first time a little bit. Not completely, but a little bit. I could stay calm. And in staying calm, you can make actions. When you're stressed, you cannot do anything. You're
You
just stressed.
you got to have that clear mind, don't you?
Yes, it was so clear. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And afterwards, I was like, oh, I should have done something else. But I did something.
But at least you did something. I think like I'm a mum, and I think actually one thing I think fighting has so helped me. It wasn't to start with, but like as I started going, actually I can use what I learned because it's so stressful being a parent, and like then you start to want to go like grumpy right back at them and yelling at them, and then you're like, oh, I know what it feels like to be in this situation. I can take that breath and I can take that space, and I think it can help so much in life.
I think I really, I'm full job working. So I feel it also in my job. I have sometimes a stressful job. I have to deal with problems. I have to find solutions. I work in projects. And I realized the longer I did Muay Thai and the more I calmed down, the more fights I had, the more I was used to deal with stressful situations. I can just handle them completely different. And sometimes colleagues maybe just get crazy and I'm like, oh, come on, that's not the hardest thing that can happen. Just get into the ring 1 second and you know what I mean. It's just so you understand it's just shifting. Stressful situations in life that made me crazy years ago are just like, oh, I'm fine now. I just handle it. And solution is so much easier then.
And it's so there's such a crossover, isn't there? So like wouldn't your bosses be do they see that change in you? Like do they support you because they can see it actually makes you a better worker, or do they not support you? What's
So I actually have to ask this question one day to my bosses because I don't know if they may see a difference. What they basically really do is they support me. If they wouldn't support me, it would not be possible. So they need to give you vacation when you need this vacation. They need to say yes to the holidays and the vacation days on a certain time. And they need to be okay that you're there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that. And they also need to be okay. In my job, it is I have also go abroad to construction sites, to different countries to work with the customer. And if this is correlating, is at the same time, I have to say, no, I cannot go. And they need to say, yes, it's fine for us. And this is not something that is has to be taken for granted. Definitely not. So I'm really, really happy that I can work for this company and that they really support me.
I
Otherwise,
think
I could not go.
otherwise you wouldn't be able to go. But like in the fact that you are doing this, wouldn't they get a much more productive employee,
Yes, they
happier
do.
employee, more productive? It's actually
Yes.
better for them.
I don't think they know that. I think they know it, and that's why they give me this support. I think they know that when they maybe say no to me, or they say no, you only can go one competition in a year or something like that, that I would not be that happy, and I would not actually do work my ass off at my job, because I do that. It's always a give and a take. They give me the opportunity and I give them my support, a better worker. I give them really a help as wherever I can. And yes,
So
I think so.
so it's a good relationship, right?
Yes, totally. And it's really, I'm really so happy. And I tell them sometimes, whenever I can, I tell them, thank you for helping me.
So do you think like have your relationships with other people because you were 29 when you started doing Muay Thai, right? So you would have had quite a solid group of friends, family. You would have had like routines in place, and that
So
would have changed considerably, no, with the time you have to do
yeah,
training.
the
Have
thing
your
is,
relationships changed?
yeah, so the thing is actually like that, that I changed everything before I started with Muay Thai. I had a relationship before that. I had a boyfriend. We quit. And with that, a lot of friendships, because we've been together a very long time. So everything broke up, which was really okay. It was something we both needed. It was totally fine. But actually, I had a really complete start over, totally. And that's when I decided I wanted to do something new. I had the choice. Am I now crying and because I'm 30, I have no kids, I have no house, I have no nothing? Or do I just start over and find out who I really am?
And become
And
a
that's what
champion
I
of the world?
did. Yes, maybe, maybe next.
What did you find out about yourself? Like some people have said to me, and they're not Muay Thai people, and they go, "I love listening to your podcast, but I really want to know what they're like as a person. What have they learned from the sport as a woman or just as a human being? Like what do they learn about themselves?"
Yes, I learned that I'm capable of much more than I ever thought I I was. I learned that I have the power to change things in life, whatever it is. I learned that I can handle every situation, no matter how hard it maybe looks on the first glance, right? I just learned there is always a way. And I'm powerful in no matter where it's in my physics, it's my mind, doesn't matter. I can handle and change things. And that was a really breakthrough for me.
That must empower you. Like it must empower. I wonder if it empowers men in the same way as it does women.
I'm not sure sometimes because I think there's in my age group, I don't know youngers, but I think we are still growing up with this little mindset break. So like men are powerful and female have to rely on men somehow. I'm not sure if it's really still like that, but I am still feeling it somehow in myself, this mindset. And that's what I'm breaking up for me.
That's Yeah, I think some of the younger ones, it's not quite so much like that, but like
Yeah.
definitely for older generation, definitely
Yes.
my generation, it definitely
Yes.
was. So what would you say, like it doesn't have to be in Muay Thai, what would you say your greatest achievement is?
My greatest achievement.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is a hard question. Because for me, the greatest achievement is that it's really about Muay Thai, but it's not about success like maybe others think success. For me, Muay Thai gave me a tool. It gave me a tool to change things in my life. Because I was in certain parts unhappy before, but I was not unhappy enough to change it. But then Muay Thai came, and I wanted this much more than I wanted this unhappiness. I don't know how to explain. So Muay Thai was really more, it was just the right tool. Maybe for other persons it's painting something or other arts, but for me it was Muay Thai, and it was so important in my life, and I hated the fact that I cannot change it, that I cannot get better, that I cannot do this technique because of my mindset, which blocks me. And so I started to work on it. And that is actually my greatest achievement. I started to work on myself, on my mindset, on my blocks, on all the things I learned in the past, which are actually not true for me.
So actually, anybody could take this. It wouldn't have to be, like you say, it wouldn't have to be Muay Thai. If they found
Really?
something that they wanted to keep driving at and use to keep challenging themselves and changing how they believe in themselves and think of themselves, then it's worth the effort.
Of course, I have yes, a friend who has just kids, family, amazing. But he said his kids were the reason why he started to change, why he worked on his self. So just find something. It doesn't have to be sport. Sometimes you're just doing in NGOs, in some organizations, you help people or whatever. I've in the past 2 years I had the pleasure to meet so many people in that fields, and all of them have a passion in completely different ways, but they all improve themselves with this passion because there was something greater and bigger they believed in. It's really cool.
Something bigger than yourself, isn't it? If there's something beyond yourself, it drives you to do more, it motivates you.
Yes, I think it's the same with you, right? You're doing this female things for the IFMA, and I think it really drives you, and it makes you and it's going up, right? So you're changing things, you're trying things, and it's always a try and error thing. It's always like that. You start with something, you try out, you fail, or you succeed, and when you fail, you start again, try again, and then you succeed. That's how it works.
Yeah, I heard the other day it was something like if you fail, when you start again, you don't start new, you start from experience.
Right, and that's it. And somehow it's not always easy to accept that, because when you have a dream and you want to be the, I don't know, European champion, and you try and you fail. It's not easy. It's not easy. But keep going. And then you realize, oh, as you said, you don't start from zero again. You start from the experience you already gained, and then you find your way.
And you won't succeed at everything, will you? Like one thing I'm really passionate about is singing, but like if you heard me singing, you would be like, you will
Run
not
away.
succeed at that. My kids, they put their hands over their ears and they go, Mom, no, please don't. But I love it because it makes me feel really good, but I know I'm not good at it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter. I think whatever frees your heart, whatever frees your soul, just do it. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be Picasso. You don't have to really, no, it doesn't matter. If it frees yourself and your soul and your heart, in maybe you'll see the benefits years later. Just stick on
Yeah.
it.
Because you were so one of the other things we were talking about was like people fight for different reasons, and I guess different stages in their life they will. And you talked a lot about giving, and I guess like that kind of links in because like the reason I do all this stuff for women is I didn't have it, and I want other women to have it because I believe in it so passionately. But I also like giving because the more I give, even though it takes a lot of my time and a lot of work, and sometimes it gives me a headache, like it makes me feel better about who I am.
Yes, yes.
So you talked about fighters that were giving, like you said that you
Yeah.
fought because it was giving. What do you mean by that?
When I started with Muay Thai, I really started late, and I also started very late with fighting, because the circumstances in Austria are just different. Now they're a little bit better. It's getting better, but back then it was different. So it took me a long, long time to trust myself, And I sometimes think it would have been easier. It's not right, but maybe I would have had another connecting person if there had been a female fighter. I could just look up and see, how is this person doing that? How is this person reacting? What is her behavior? How is she different? Why is she a fighter? And so everything actually started with me in my gym, and I had no one who just gave me a little direction. Günther does, but he's still a man. So it was different for me. And I realized when I had a couple of fights, and some of the girls in our gym also jumped on fighting, I realized how important I was for them. They told me, Rebecca, if you hadn't been here, it would have been so hard. They came to questions, they asked me things. Sometimes it's easier for females to ask a girl a question than a man. It's like that. They ask me about menstruation, about cycle, about nutrition. They ask so many things. And I was always just giving answer and fine. And later on I realized how important this role is and was. And that is something I want to give, actually. I still give that. They know my door is always open, and I try to give my experience, also my fighting experience. When I see them at the sparring or training, I say, hey girls, look, try this, try that, look that. That's not going to work. See how your opponent is doing. Change your style. This is so, it's so cool if you have experience and you can give it to improve them. And for me, it's not always improving them as a fighter to make them the best fighter in the world. For me, it's to make them the best person they can be, to unlock their blocks. That's what I want to help them, because it helped me so much when I could unlock my blocks.
And then you want to be able to give it back to them, don't you? Or you want to give it back to
Yeah,
somebody. So I
because
think
I
so much
learned for sorry, because I learned
like
for years so long. It took me, oh my god, it was so hard to find it out. And now I want to make it easier for them.
so everything that you've had to go through, you feel like you can actually unlock their blocks so much earlier for them.
Yeah, just to show them, girls, you are amazing the way you are, and you don't have to be exact like this person. Just be yourself. Fine.
I think one of the things like I people used to say to me, "Oh, you're really good," and we kind of get taught. I don't know, like in this day and age, whether it's different, but I kind of felt like I always had to downplay it. Oh no, no, I'm not that good. I was just lucky at the time, or I just did this at the time, or yeah, I'm not that good. And people say, oh, well, but you do this and this and this. I'm like, oh yeah, but I just do that. There's nothing special about it. And but actually we need to take pride in what we do without being arrogant about it, and be able to give to the next person without feeling like they have to ask for it.
Yes. I had to learn that if it just comes from your inside, it's easy. And if it is something you just subscribe or you just overwrite, it's not easy. So that was what I had to learn. In my mindset in the beginning was, if I don't struggle with it, it's not worth it. But then I realized, okay, for me, there are ways which are very, very easy. They just come through me and I don't think about it. Then I'm on the right path. And I had to understand that this is still something I earn and not something which is luck. So
Yeah,
it
it's
was
not just luck, is it? Like we work hard for what we get.
right, but it's still sometimes easy. And that was the mindset. So you work hard on it, but it still flows easy. And that's what I had to learn.
And to pass it on to other people, I think, is like one of the biggest gifts of it all, isn't it? Like that next generation and those new
Yeah.
people coming through.
So you build, right? So they don't have to start on 0 point. They can start on a basement. You create it, and then can build up on that and give it to the next generation. So growth is happening for a sport, or just through more generations. Just takes time.
Would that be your advice? Like, what would be your advice to other women around the world, whether it's Muay Thai or whatever they're doing within their passions?
Don't be afraid. If you want to try something out, just do it. No matter how old you are, no matter if you're the only female there, just try it. And don't be stuck in what could happen if. Just try it.
Just give it a go.
Yeah, the best you
That's
can do.
fun. Carry on. I cut you off.
It's fine.
Just try it. Just do it. Isn't it? What's that? It's
Yeah.
Nike, isn't it? Just do it.
When I wanted to start with Muay Thai, it took me months to start because I was like in my head, oh my God, I'm nearly 30 years old. I'm too old. They're also good. I cannot do that. I had a ton of excuses, just excuses not to do it. And then one day, the feeling of I need to try it was just more intense. And I just jumped over these excuses and did it. And it was the best decision ever, the best decision ever. But it took me months because of stupid thinking. Just don't think. Just go for it.
Just give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like trying something new is really scary. Sometimes it's kind of nicer to stay where things don't change. But then if
Yeah.
things don't,
This comfort zone, people are always talking about it. And that was it actually. And when you get out of it, you experience what you're actually capable of. And it makes you stronger. It makes you understand that you can rely on yourself, that you can handle things no matter what's coming. That's
can
important
stand
for,
on your own 2 feet.
yeah, and that's important for life, not only for sport. It's important for life. So that you can say, no, I want it, yes, I want it, no, whatever. That's important.
It's really important to the other thing that we talked about that I wanted to chat about was you were talking about because like you and I had quite different experiences with it, like menstruation, like the female period. I was quite lucky because it didn't seem to make much difference to me. But I've heard from other women that it's made huge differences to them and their weight and everything like that. How was, because we talked about that with having a male trainer and then being a female and trying to explain that kind of stuff. Tell us a little bit about that because I found that really interesting.
Yeah, it's actually it took me also a while because I've never had a sport with weights and stuff, so I was not used to it in a time where it is taking, where it is really there. So when I came to Muay, suddenly I had to bring my weight, and I suddenly was like, "What the hell? I'm sometimes 2 kilos higher and sometimes not." And it took me a while to figure that out, actually. And I was very happy because Günther and me we have a very good relationship. We are working together very very well, and I trust him fully. So I started to talk about with him, and I'm a person who is not really coming behind. I'm just straightforward. So I was like, Günther, listen, that is my issue. I cannot do this now. I'm on my period or I'm just before my period. I cannot do this drill now because it's not gonna working out and it's actually harming me. It's not good for my muscles. It's not good for my hamstrings and whatever. It's just not good now to do that. And there were some discussions, but he started to understand, and we figured out a way. I just look at him and say, "Not today," and he knows. Okay, fine. So we switch to another kind of training session, which is possible for me during that time.
And
So he really understands.
what did you find was harder for you? Like what things were it that weren't that that didn't work for you when you were on your
When
period or close to?
when I'm close to my period, it's very hard for me to do really heavyweight training. So I tried it once just to try it out. I'm really heavy weightlifting, and I couldn't train for the next 2 days. My body was totally done. I never had that before. And I
Wow.
knew, okay, that was just too much. I can lift weights, it's fine. But you have to find out how much weight you can put on because it was really heavy weight. It was really, really heavy. And I have no issues if in doing exercises with my body weight. I have no issues with that. But really heavy weight training, like weightlifting with really, really a lot of like my body weight like,
Just,
up on my, it's just
just
too much.
that time of the month it was too much.
Yes,
And
yes.
you also said something about different food affected
Yeah.
you at different times of the month too. Tell me a
This
little bit
is
about
very
that.
true.
I found it so interesting because I don't know if I never noticed that myself or like,
Yeah, I think maybe it's because of my age too. I'm not sure if a 20-year-old girl has the same output of her food than I have with 35. Maybe I don't know. I just figure out that I I have to eat different at the second part of my cycle and during my period. It's just different. So I have to avoid like milky products. I have to avoid wheat or I don't know exactly what else, just some stuff. Just not, I don't eat it because it really makes me gain weight. Just I keep water in my body.
Like
That's what
bloating.
yeah, I'm totally blowing up like
Yeah.
so it helps, and I had to find doctor to check my hormones, and I get some extra hormones in the second cycle phase. That helps.
Yes. So you now get that prescribed to you, and that helps you through the second half of the
Yeah,
where our
yeah.
hormones are completely different, right?
Right, right. So it is just I have some females in my gym. They have troubles the same as me, and some of them don't. So I don't know if it's the age or if it's just you're lucky or not. I don't know. But it's just something I just figured out. I don't want to stress my body with weight cutting if he's actually stressed because of the hormone cycle going on. So I wanted to find another way because I don't want to destroy myself or my body for nothing actually, right? So I'm 35 years old. I want to have a healthy life till 90, 100, I don't know. So I don't want that. And so it took me really months and years to figure something out. And it's still not perfect. It's still screwing screws and finding out.
Yeah.
But I'm more focused on my health. I don't want to cut weight like endless. I don't want to stress my body and myself because I don't think it is worth it. But that's a
No.
personal opinion.
Yeah, the highs and lows, I don't think it's
Yeah.
worth it. I found it was quite good just to sit within 1 kilo, one
Yeah.
and a half,
That's
maybe
right.
two
So I'm like
kilos at the
around
max.
this 1 kilo. So if I just start training more, I have 51. I have less than 51. I'm fine. But I don't want to go have 56, 57 kg and then go down to 51. For what? I don't want
Yeah.
that. I still have a job. I sit in the office. It's not easy to lose weight when you're sitting the whole day. I just don't want to do that.
No, that's so true. I think I was on the injection, and I think that stopped all my periods, and I wonder if that was quite pivotal for me, um, just by sheer luck, I guess,
Yeah.
that it had, because hormones are quite I'm very sensitive to them, and I turn into a bit of a psycho. So I used to find the injection kind of had a calming effect on me.
But I understand it. When I come close to my period, I'm always so angry. I'm such an angry person. So if somebody just looks at me like in the wrong way, I could explode. It's
And it's actually not a good time to fight, is it? Like, you don't want to fight when you're angry. It's gonna be, oh, I've got my period. I don't want to fight at the moment because I know my brain's not going to be my friend.
yes, it's true. It's true. You're just like sometimes when we make appointments or something, it's close to my period, and I just come too late. I miss something which I should have bring with. I don't know, and I was like, okay, I'm just not master of my brain at the moment. It's just give me 1 week and it will be fine.
It'll be fine. We just got to be kind to ourselves, don't we? Like, the more we know ourselves and the more we treat ourselves with compassion and love, the better we will actually be as
Yeah.
people.
Yes, yes, and it is also to make men aware of it because they don't have it. They don't know how it is. They always think we are choking on them, kidding on them, or making them angry with purpose. No, it's just we cannot do it different now. Just be gentle and nice, and just don't talk to me now. Fine.
Yeah. Just smile and nod and stay a little bit further away.
Yeah, right, right. It is
That's
something
so true.
we cannot control. It is like that, so we have to handle it. But I don't think we have to hide it. So it's just make clear now. It's this time of the month. I don't know. So just be gentle, and if not, you get a response.
Yeah, if you can listen, I think that's it, isn't it? Communication is key. So it really doesn't matter
Yeah,
if your trainer is a female or your trainer is a male or who you're training with is male or female, but you just have to be honest about who you are and where you
yeah.
are and what you can do and what you can't do. Still understanding that you want to push your boundaries because that's important.
Yeah, yeah, of course, you will not get up if you don't push yourself, and if you're not willing to cross your boundaries. That's something it is about.
And that's something you're very good at. Now, I know that you've got work and we started an hour late, so I'm going to finish it on that note. So a big thank you to Low Blow, our sponsors, and I'll get those performance protection out to you. Thanks to Razor Promotions. And thank you once again to you, Rebecca. I really, really loved talking to you. I actually can't wait till there's another IFMA competition so I can catch up with you in
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah, perfect. Let's have a chat there then.
Definitely. It's a date.
Yeah, no, no, I have to work. We cannot chat now. I have to.
No, I know. Yeah, no. Enjoy your day at work. Thank you so much for coming back to see us. And I hope everybody else got as much out of that as I did. And good luck with all your training. Say hi to Gunter from us, and
Yeah,
we'll see you again another day.
yeah. Thank you. Bye.